Alright, Joe, how many times you guys in the past month or two clicked on a YouTube video and then realized that the thumbnail really didn't have a whole lot to do with the video? It was kind of just like engagement farming is the word that they used. And I think it's hilarious because engagement farming is kind of like you get this funny image in your head, right? But it's overall true. And I heard it the other day where it was like, oh, the Mr. Beastification of the internet has really destroyed it. And you know what? It has. It's very much like hollowed out, and it kind of represents society as a whole, where it's not really all that genuine anymore, right? YouTube is really guilty of this because the algorithm promotes engagement farming and anything you can do, any small edge you can do to like get someone to click on your video rather than someone else's video. People take it, and you're rewarded for that. That's the problem. Of course, YouTube makes more money the more you're on the app, right? So they're going to reward people trying to keep them on the app for as long as possible. But overall, there are so many times where I've clicked on a YouTube video and it ends up just feeling like hollow or like very disingenuine, because like maybe the title feels like it's one way and you kind of watch some of the video and you're just like, man, is he ever going to get to the point with like the question he proposed or why I actually like decided to watch this, and so I don't know, the whole like let's try to make it like seem cooler than it is, like I guess Mr. Beast specifically, with the whole try to use this tone to make it sound like it's greater than it actually is. Today we're gonna do this with 2,000 people. We're gonna shove them into giant farming containers and see how long they last or whatever it is, right? And that kind of shit's like cool for a second or two, but it's very hollow and it gets hollowed out after a while because there's not really like any like substance to it. I guess with the extreme stuff, it's kind of fun to think about once in a while, but you can't like make your whole personality and like watch that whole thing over and over again, right? Like it's not it's like short term, like short substance sort of stuff that you like just do for like dopamine rushing, right? Now I'm not trying to say that over here on the Texas Gringo Z channel we have just only pure and non-dopamine long-term stuff over here, right? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm not going to stoop down to the engagement farming, although it is fun to use ChatGPT to make these ridiculous thumbnails from time to time, and I'm going to post one on this video because sometimes you kind of have an idea of what would be like, oh, that would be kind of like a cool thumbnail to get people to kind of click on it, right? Like if I saw it online, I would probably click on it, but the sometimes you have the moving pieces all together, but not quite in a way where they all work together, and ChatGPT is like excellent for generating that sort of stuff, and for this one, it's kind of funny, but I thought like having like a semi truck would be fun, and be like, I don't give a truck instead of I don't give a fuck. I was like, yeah, that would be like perfect. And then somehow trying to get someone to like do some sort of like farming and whatnot to try to be like their engagement farming, but maybe make like a pun out of that. But ChatGPT actually did a pretty good job weaving that all together. So AI, even though it's like far from perfect, and it's still kind of worse than the average human intelligence, it does do a good job sometimes, and it's surprising how good it can weave things together for the most part. So anyway, this was going to never be a long one, but I don't want to go too long without posting. And very quickly, I'm going to show you guys my prompt I made. I gave it literally like a sentence or two, and it actually worked wonders with what I wanted to give it. Maybe it's like subscribed to my personality a little bit because I've asked it so many things, but like, so this is the only one I generated, and you can see I used like the most basic prompt of all time. I didn't even describe a whole lot. I just basically said like a cartoon photo, some guys farming for engagement in a field, and have a truck saying I don't give a truck, right? And actually got all of those details almost perfectly right, almost to the T, and it went way above and beyond. I started putting stuff that makes it look like I actually give a shit about this, right? So anyway, these kind of fun things are fun to use with ChatGPT sometimes, and also I don't worry about, if you're starting a YouTube channel, don't worry about people being like, oh my god, how many subscribers do I have, right? I have fucking 70 on my BitChute channel, and I have 80 on this channel, but the amount of subscribers I have, the amount of likes I get, the amount of views I get, doesn't really determine my identity, right? You have to have your own identity, and you have to be able to do something before you have all of these like subscribers and people, right? And I'm not saying that I'm ever going to get to like 100,000 subscribers or whatever. My goal is not to get to those things, right? My goal is to provide something to everybody with the perspectives I've had and found over the course of the years of like studying sorts of things that are important to the world. And for the few people that do find this channel and enjoy that, this is built for you, not for other people, so that you can go engagement farming and getting all the views and subscribers. Mwahaha, right? Like, yes, it's always nice for us to all have a giant following, right? But could you imagine a world where your entire identity is your YouTube channel because you have a lot of people? That's what your identity is. You have no foundation. You're just subscribing to what everyone else wants. So you don't really have anything that you bring to the table specifically. You're just pandering to the giant crowd and the most amount of people. It's kind of almost like being a politician in that way, right? So I guess the key to like a YouTube channel or having something is to be grounded and stay in the corner that you're trying to fight and try to give people the best product you can for your channel tailored to your personality, right? Or at least that's what I'm doing. And you know what? Even though I have a small following, this is really kind of fun sometimes. You know, I get to talk to the camera and put myself on YouTube. And really, the biggest benefit is in 40 or 50 or 60 years, I get to point back and be like, that's who I was back then, you know? Read it and weep, grandchildren, you know? And then it'll be like, Grandpa, what the fuck, man? You were making all these videos back then? You were trying to be a YouTuber too? And I'll be like, hell yeah, you know? So I don't know. There's more fun things to this going on than you realize than just your subscribers and like account and how many views you get, you know? So anyway, that's all I really want to talk about. I want to talk about the hollowing out of YouTube in general, the content. A lot of the time, the YouTube algorithm's horrible. I mean, I've already made videos about that before, so we don't need to talk about that at length anymore. But also it plays out into society. Right now, I'm sure that always, in prior generations, there's always some degree of people who are just faking it and pretending to be who they were trying to be just for the, action of pandering to other people so that they could survive. And of course, that was a valid survival strategy, right? If you can't do the hard work of trying to actually get to a place where you have principles, you have to just kind of blend in and hope you reproduce, right? But it feels like today, especially in the world where you can get a lot of followers easily, or it's like more accessible than it's ever been, especially compared to prior times. Feels like certainly there's like some irony with like how grounded people are versus how many followers they actually get, or whatever. If you want to look at followers as like a currency, right? There's like people who will do that, like, oh my god, I got 2,000 likes on this Instagram photo and I have 3,000 followers. Wow, I'm like fucking super lit and shit, you know. So anyway, another one of these random ones. But hey, thanks for stopping by and we'll see you next time.